Hello everybody and welcome to another video with me, Matt Goddard from the Boxing Locker. Today I'm going to do a prediction video for the 8th of March clash between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Now this is, for all intents and purposes, an absolutely insane fight. You've got a guy in AJ who's 27-3. He's former heavyweight champion of the world. He's only lost to guys at the very best top level. Against a guy who's had one professional fight. Yes, it was against another world champion in Tyson Fury, but he basically got comprehensively outboxed in that fight with the exception of dropping Fury once. Now, just a quick analysis of that, which I've done in the past, but just to cover this with a really brief synopsis. Ngannou outperformed, Fury underperformed. Ngannou was therefore more impressive and had a better boxing ability than everyone suspected. Fury did the opposite, hence why it's made Ngannou look so much more impressive. Now, what we all have to remember about that before we start shouting about Ngannou's power and the risk to AJ is that Fury has been dropped many times in his career. This is not the first time. He got dropped by cruiserweight Steve Cunningham. He's been dropped other times. Wilder dropped him multiple times. At heavyweight, there is always a risk of being dropped, okay? I actually think Anthony Joshua is less likely to get dropped by Ngannou, and I will talk you through why I believe that to be the case now. So, obviously, AJ is slightly taller. It's not an enormous advantage. He's slightly taller. Ngannou's got a slight reach advantage. I don't think that is going to have an enormous effect in this fight. I think what you have to pay attention to is the stylistic difference between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, okay? As opponents, Ngannou was always going to have more success against the lighter punching, more mobile Tyson Fury, who he didn't have as much to fear from. Now, I'm not diminishing Tyson Fury's abilities. Everybody will know, if you've watched my channel, I'm a big Tyson Fury fan when it comes to his boxing skills. However, the risk isn't the same. If you stand in front of Anthony Joshua with no defense, then he's going to pick you apart with multiple punches. And in his last couple of fights, he's looked a lot more confident. He's putting punches together. So I say in his last couple, I mean in the Wallin fight. In the second Usyk fight, he looked significantly improved. Obviously, Usyk still won, but I'm not sure you can use that as a reflection on a guy's overall skill set. My concern with AJ has always been psychological. It's never been physical. It's never been boxing ability. I think he is maybe too upright, too robotic, but I think that's actually improved, especially since the Usyk fight. I think his coaching team have worked on making him slip with that jab to the body, slip as he jabs to the head, getting his head off the center line as he's throwing his shots so that he doesn't keep himself in the same spot all the time. And I think that'll be advantageous against Ngannou. What you've got to remember is, from Ngannou's perspective, when people throw punches in MMA, they rarely move their head with it because the risk of knees coming up or elbows or kicks is far greater. In fact, it's a million times higher because it doesn't happen in boxing. So it's not something you have to think about. So I can throw a jab and drop my head right down, and there's no risk of a knee or a kick flicking up and knocking me out. Okay, so what I'm looking to do is get my head off the center line as I'm throwing my shots so that my opponent's punch is then harder for them to land. And I think that's what we're going to see AJ doing all night long against Ngannou. Now, theoretically, AJ should absolutely run through Ngannou. The first round will be a bit cagey. He'll start having more success in the second and third. And then in the fourth, fifth, and maybe it'll get to the sixth. I think he should flatten him. The body work, the combinations, that's the key. I think putting punches together once he gets in range and then moving out. Lots of footwork. But what I mean by footwork is nice, small, continuous steps so you can get yourself just out of range, come back and attack. He's just got to watch a looping overhand right. That's it. Looping overhand right. Watch out for that shot. And he'll be safe all night long. Keep the left hand high, tuck the chin, watch to roll. As I said, I think that the first couple of rounds are going to be cagey. AJ will win comfortably on the jab, and he'll start to see some of the openings. He'll address and analyze Ngannou's response to that jab, and I think off the back of that, we'll start seeing him then pick up the pace, throw a few more punches up and down. Start pressing Ngannou back. We know Ngannou is strong, very strong. Strength means absolutely nothing in a boxing ring if you don't have the mobility, the footwork, and the agility to back it up, okay? Remember, he can't kick, he can't knee, he can't wrestle, he can't grapple. There's nothing he can do. He can't do takedowns. If AJ is pivoting around to his left, he hasn't got an option to grab and wrap up. So he's going to find it difficult to then turn. In the meantime, he's been hit with 4 shots. AJ's going to start getting in to the body, to the head, picking the punches, putting them together. And then in the 5th, 6th rounds, if it gets to the 6th round, we're going to see an increase in output from AJ. He just needs to be careful. Remember, a wounded dog is a dangerous one, and that's the key to it, okay? A wounded animal. Ngannou is always going to be dangerous, and he's going to be brave, and he's got a decent chin. And, you know, look at his bone structure. He's got a fantastic bone structure for absorbing punches, big, strong cheekbones, big square jaw, and he's used to taking impact all the time. He's been kicked, he's been elbowed, he's been kneed, all of these things. I think the key for AJ is to not look for a single punch knockout, to work in flurries and look for the stoppage. Cut him up, beat him up, bruise him up, hurt him, and the ref will jump in. You know, this isn't MMA. In boxing, the likelihood of the referee letting punishment go on for too long is far diminished. So that's my prediction. Anyway, I think AJ is going to run through him in, I'm going to say 5 or 6. I think for safety's sake, I'm going to go for 6. I think he'll probably be a little bit cautious of that right hand, so it'll pace it out a little bit more. Great to see that Zhilei Zhang and Joseph Parker have signed to fight on the undercard. That is an unbelievable fight. Both men deserve enormous credit. It's good to see 2 guys getting in the ring with each other when they could just wait it out and wait for their opportunity. It's good to see them taking another fight on, staying active. I mean, if anything has been demonstrated in the last 5 to 10 years, it's that being an active fighter is key. You need to be in the ring. Doesn't matter how rubbish the fight is. You've got to be in there boxing somebody, and you've got to keep that ring rust off. We've seen so many guys lose as a result of that, so it's great to see, as I said, Zhilei Zhang and Joseph Parker doing that. I'm really looking forward to that fight. I think Parker is going to present a challenge for Zhang that he hasn't necessarily faced. The mobility of Parker off the back of the jab, moving around to the left, away from, moving around to his right, away from Zhilei Zhang, moving around to the left. It's really hard to envisage that in my head. Moving around to his left, away from Zhilei Zhang's left hand, and watch him for that roll under the right hand. Parker's obviously low and has decent head movement, so it's going to make for a great fight. It's going to be interesting to see whether Zhang can make the adjustments necessary. Whether the Parker win over Wilder was purely stylistic, or whether the Parker win was an intimation that he's improved his skill set and that he has, in fact, learned and is learning from Andy Lee. So there we have it. I'm really looking forward to both fights. I think AJ stops Ngannou in 6. Not a knockout. I think the referee will step in and stop it. I think the Parker-Zhang fight is a great fight, and I'm glad to see that. I'm not going to do a prediction for that one just yet. I'm going to think on that a little bit because it's obviously just been announced. But yeah, another great night of boxing. That Saudi money's making some big fights happen. That's what we like to see. No, Ngannou is not a big boxing name, but yes, Ngannou is a big name. And as such, I think off the back of his performance against Fury, as I said, where he overperformed and Fury underperformed, I think he's earned the right to box AJ. When you consider the amount of money behind the fight, you know, everybody, especially what I would consider kind of fickle or fair weather boxing fans, will be far more excited to see that than see AJ box Hrgovic or one of the other names. You know, outside of a legitimate boxing audience, it's very hard to see any of the other fights at heavyweight being that interesting outside of the Fury matchup, outside of, I suppose, Joseph Parker again now a rematch would be quite interesting. But anyway, there we have it. As I said, those are my thoughts. I think AJ stoppage in 6. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Any questions you might have for me on my opinion, or any critique of my suggestions. I'm sure there'll be some coming. There normally is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and please do share the video far and wide. Thank you as always, and check out the rest of my content. Have a great day.